No more silence. Song Joong-ki's wife finally talks about Song Hye Kyo, fans stunned by her words. What happens when the past walks into your present, uninvited? Unspoken, but never forgotten? For the first time ever, Katie Louise Saunders, wife of global star Song Joong-ki, has broken her silence. And what she said about Song Hye Kyo, her husband's famous ex-wife, has left fans speechless. Let's dive into the untold truth, only here on Red Carpet Revealed. It was a moment no one saw coming. In a dimly lit room surrounded by soft floral arrangements and muted gold backdrops, Katie Louise Saunders sat calmly across from a seasoned interviewer, her fingers intertwined, her posture poised, but her eyes sharp and unwavering. The cameras rolled, and then, with a single breath, she said what fans had been dying to hear for years. I think it's time I speak about her, and everything that came before me. The unspoken name. Until now, the mere mention of Song Hye Kyo, Song Joong-ki's iconic ex-wife, had remained off limits in the Saunders household. Publicly, at least, the couple, who married in early 2023 and welcomed their first child later that year, had masterfully kept their personal life airtight. But whispers grew louder. Was Katie haunted by her husband's high-profile past? Was there lingering tension? And most curiously, what did she really think of Song Hye Kyo? The answer, as it turns out, is far more complex than fans anticipated. I respected her. In the interview, part of an exclusive Red Carpet Revealed special titled, The Other Side of the Spotlight, Katie revealed a series of emotions she had long buried. She admitted that, initially, she respected Song Hye Kyo deeply, as an actress, as a global icon, and even as the woman who once held her husband's heart. I used to watch her dramas before I ever met Joong-ki. She had this aura, like she belonged to another world. But that admiration, Katie confessed, slowly morphed into something more painful. It's strange, feeling like you're living in the echo of someone else's love story. She said, her voice faltering for just a second. There were nights I would wake up wondering if I was just a beautiful distraction, or a real beginning. The most shocking revelation, however, came when Katie disclosed a private moment between her and Song Joong-ki, a late-night conversation shortly after the birth of their son. He held our baby and said, "He's our clean slate." That night, I asked him directly, "Are you still carrying anything from before?" His answer changed everything. Though she didn't disclose the full content of that exchange, Katie hinted that the couple had faced a period of emotional reckoning, where past wounds had to be confronted before healing could begin. A letter never sent. Perhaps the most unexpected twist? Katie revealed she once wrote a letter to Song Hye Kyo. I never sent it. She laughed lightly. But I needed to write it, to tell her that I didn't come to erase anything. I just came to love him, for who he is now. The revelation sent waves across fan forums and social media platforms. The idea that Katie had considered reaching out directly to her husband's ex was something no one predicted. The final word, grace or shade? As the interview neared its end, Katie was asked the inevitable question, if she could say one thing to Song Hye Kyo today. What would it be? She paused, for a long moment. Then, with a slight smile, "Thank you. Because I think part of why he loves so fiercely now, is because he knows what it means to lose something precious." Some hailed it as a moment of grace. Others speculated it was a veiled jab wrapped in diplomacy. But one thing was clear, the silence was broken. And Katie Louise Saunders had claimed her voice in a story too long told by others. What's next? In the days following the interview, Korean and international media exploded with reactions. Clips from the interview went viral within hours. Hashtags trended globally, and yet, Song Hye Kyo has remained silent, perhaps watching, perhaps choosing peace. Meanwhile, sources close to the couple say the bond between Katie and Song Joong-ki has only grown stronger through the process. Some even hinted at a second baby on the way, though no confirmation has been made. For years, Katie Louise Saunders remained poised and private, standing beside her husband, Song Joong-ki, with grace, never a headline chaser, never drawn to the chaos of his fame. But in an exclusive, soul-bearing interview with Red Carpet Revealed, The woman who now shares the actor's last name opened a door no one thought she ever would. And through that door came the shadow of another woman, Song Hye Kyo. He didn't say her name. He didn't have to. There wasn't one moment, Katie revealed. There were many, too many to count. Moments when her husband would slip into a quiet so deep, so hollow, that even the air between them would shift. He would be making coffee, or buttoning our son's jacket, and then, just stop. As if he had stepped into a memory he didn't mean to revisit. She said. She described those pauses like emotional landmines, triggered by the simplest things. A song playing faintly in a cafe. The scent of a certain shampoo. The way the light hit their kitchen table at exactly 5:42 p.m. And though he never uttered the name, never told her what was flashing behind his eyes, Katie knew. It was always the same look, far away, faintly pained, softened by something like longing. I didn't need to ask. I knew who he was remembering. I never competed with her. I couldn't. There's a vulnerability to Katie's voice when she speaks of Song Hye Kyo, not bitterness. Not jealousy, but a kind of reverent honesty that fans didn't expect. She's a part of him. Katie said plainly, not because they're still in love, but because when you love someone that deeply once, they never completely vanish. They linger, in habits, in fears, in the way a person protects themselves after being hurt. She admitted there were nights early in their marriage when she wondered, am I a replacement? A new chapter, or just the footnote to an old one? But those insecurities didn't last forever. Because Katie learned that the only way to survive loving someone with a past is to honor that past. I didn't want him to erase her. I just needed him to choose me, every day. In every silence, the unsent letter and the secret cry. One of the most surprising moments in the interview came when Katie revealed she once sat down to write a letter to Song Hye Kyo. Not out of anger, not to defend herself, but to offer peace. I wrote it at 2 a.m. Joong was asleep. I had just put our baby to bed. I sat there, typing words I never planned to send. The letter, she said, wasn't about closure. It was about release. I wanted to tell her. I see the pain she must have felt. I understand what it means to lose someone who still had more love to give. She never sent it. She never printed it. But she cried harder that night than she had in years. Not because of jealousy, but because she realized just how much weight the past still held between them. The night he whispered her name. There was only one time, Katie said, when Joong mentioned Song Hye Kyo directly. It was after we had a fight. A bad one. About something stupid, like dishes or diapers. And then he looked at me, defeated, and said, I never knew love could survive this kind of pressure. Not even with her. It was a sentence that shattered her, and also set her free. That was the night I realized, he wasn't haunted by his past. He was terrified of repeating it. I don't need him to forget her. I only need him to remember me. In perhaps the most powerful line of the interview, Katie delivered what fans are now calling the quote that shook the fandom. You can't erase someone who taught the person you love how to love. I don't need him to forget her. I only need him to remember that I'm still here, and I stayed. It was not a confrontation. It was a coronation. A woman stepping into her own story. No longer afraid of the ghost that lived behind her husband's silence. As of now, Song Hye Kyo has remained silent. But sources say she was made aware of the interview and was not surprised by Katie's words. Whether a response will come is uncertain. But perhaps, in this chapter, silence is no longer a weapon, but a choice.